interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yo, it's Remember the Show. Slick with the flows, where the sparring can go. Who's gonna be on, man, you never will know. We live from Chicago. Belal Muhammad, that's the king of the tweets. Jason Anik looks like John, up his hands to his feet. Every Thursday, we gonna give you a treat. It's Remember the Show. Hit play and repeat. And retweet, and retweet, and retweet, and retweet. It's Remember the Show. Hit play and repeat.
You know, every 10th episode or so, I get distracted by that opening song. Cody Merrow, our producer, with that song still holds up. Episode 125 tonight, the song still holds up. Episode 125, remember the show. Yeah, right? Belal Muhammad on your screen, the UFC's #1 welterweight contender. Hopefully some news on that at some point. Probably not here and remember the show. But yeah, we got to episode 125. My name is Jason Anik. Bully and I travel in road dogs, but he's in Vegas. You're all over the place. I was saying to you before we stopped, like I thought you were like staying in Vegas. You're there. You were there for cornering Chuck Radke. And then what's going on?
Yeah, I was cornering Chuck, and then I literally left that same night. Man, I like to get back to my routines already. So like, I went back home, trained 3 days up until Wednesday. No, Nacho got a fight coming up, so I got to get back in the room with him. And then we just came back to Vegas yesterday. So yeah, I'm getting my miles in.
All right. So tell me about this football game. This is tonight?
Yeah.
Celebrity football?
Yeah, it's with Celebrity Sweat. You know, they do a lot of good things for the community, stuff like that. So
yep.
For my team, I got Deontay Wilder on my team. I got me. I got RG3 throwing the pigskin. Flex Lewis just signed up on my squad.
All right.
Other team got Anthony Pettis on there. Justin Gaethje's on there. And they got T-Mac thrown to them. So
all right. So I know Gaethje. I saw Gaethje throwing a football. He looks like he perhaps could have had another career. So Showtime Pettis, did he play football or he have some skills?
I don't know, but he texted me in the morning. He said, "Bro, we're in the same team." I said, "No, we're on opposites." He said, "All right, you guys are going down." I was like, "All right, let's see what you got."
Interesting. You know, former training partners, do some work for APFC with Showtime Pettis. When we talk about this football game, I'm not going to go into some long spiel as you know I normally would, but take care of your body. Take care of your body.
You already know, 100%.
So are we playing receiver? What happened last year? A couple catches, I remember. What happened last year? How'd you perform?
We played offense, defense. We switched it up a little bit. So we'll know about which. I got to see how my squad looks, right? I got Deontay Wilder on the team. I want to see what he wants to play, defense, offense. And RG3 is really good at the helm. So he's good at like, all right, you go offense or defense. So we'll see how we're going to play today. See, obviously I'm going for the MVP, so I want to catch some touchdowns. So we'll see.
I love it. Love it. All right. Protect yourself at all times. I'll leave it at that. But so Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke, Belal Muhammad in the corner last weekend. Nice performance there. You know, the Apex is well known for, you can hear everything, very audible in there, right? A lot of people say, oh, I can hear DC or I can hear Bisping, right? You can be sure we could hear Belal Muhammad very vocal in the corner of Chuck Buffalo. Fun night for you guys, huh?
Yeah, man. It was awesome to see him get his first knockout like that in the UFC, especially because he wasn't happy about his first fight in the UFC in Australia. But I told him, like, bro, your first fight in the UFC, you had to go all the way to Australia. You were on a huge pay-per-view card. You're going against somebody from there, from Adesanya's team. So I'm like, chill, relax. You're comfortable all this whole week. He was comfortable. He was confident. And then he goes out there, gets that big finish. But I was like, bro, nothing stupid on the mic.
Yep.
Be smart. But he's getting so much attention even from his press conference. Did you see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I ain't doing no interviews, pay me this money. And I told him now, I'm like, bro, I mean, honestly, you're probably getting more attention now than you would have got if you would have did a normal interview of saying, yeah, let me get this guy next or that guy next. But I'm like, it's funny. People are always going to talk about you. So if it's good or bad, regardless, as long as you're talking, you're fine.
So I was going to give you a hard time about escaping Chicago's winters and being in Vegas. A little cold there too. Any running outside or what? No.
Man, it's freezing. This is the stupid part about being on the strip because I'm at the MGM. So it's harder to just run outside here because then you have to run on the strip. That's why I liked last week because we were at Airbnb. So we were able just like to hit the blocks, the neighborhoods and stuff like that.
Bro, I would think the strip would be perfect for you to run. They got stairs and some of those bridges. You can go up and down the stairs, mix in a little Chicago. Got a
Yeah,
little.
there's just so many people here because of the Super Bowl. So it's like just a bunch of people on there, and then you're like, you have to go through the crowd and stuff like that. So it just starts getting like,
Yep. And you are a
crowded.
celebrity, which we know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your
Oh
celebrities.
my God, bro. The weirdest thing, not like weird, it's just like, bro, some people would just have like no sense of like respect. Because I'm sitting there yesterday and this guy just like comes up to me with a camera in his hand. He's like, hey man, I'm a huge fan. And he just like recorded me the whole time. And then he starts asking me questions like it's an interview. But I'm like literally walking to go eat. And he just, hey, why did you pick your favorite, your song, your walkout song? And who's the toughest fighter you ever fought? So then I was like, you know what, let me see if this guy's really a fan. I was like, he's like, who's the toughest fighter you ever fought? I was like, oh, Lewis Taylor. He said, oh, really? Explain to me why. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Check him.
He's a beast. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Bye. I tell you what, for every 9 great fans, there is that one, whether it's signing like 20 cards so they can go resell them. That's the one that really grinds me, man. All right.
There's always the great ones that want to like they get really hyped up. Some kid was skateboarding yesterday and he was like, oh my God. And it was like the coolest thing ever to like feel it.
Man. I'm going to just hold my juices because we'll get to it. Let's get to the topics. We'll get out of the gate. So we're going to Anaheim, baby, because they won't announce when they won't give Belal Muhammad a date. So he's going to just continue on with his broadcasting career. So we're going to go to Anaheim with our boy TJ DeSantis, do a little extra rounds, a little pre-show, probably Friday somewhere. I think there's some fan event or whatever. So I think there should be a lot of fans around. We will bring our Remember the Show traveling road show to the great state of California. Only thing missing is our boy Cody Merrow at the helm. We got to fix that. But Bully, should be fun for now until you got a date, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's always fun getting those pay-per-views with the fans and stuff like that. And that card is going to be sick, right? It's going to be a massive card, a lot of hype. And Cali, hopefully the weather's better over there.
And we were just talking off the air about Merab Dwalish-Willie being on this card, sort of sneaky, right? Ray Longo's going to be out there. Yeah. Merab Triple C, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I was seeing him all last week at the PI a lot. Merab's funny guy. I'm like, bro, where you come up with these video ideas? It's like, man, it's just coming through my head. Like, people are starting to see his personality more. So it's cool that he's going hard with these stuff now, these new humor videos.
Well, and you can probably speak to this, but when you're spending all your time with Ally Quinta and Aljo and that whole team, right? I'm sure Nacho spending time with you. How much better is his English now than when you met him?
Yeah, 100%. Right? You start getting into it, and you start just getting more comfortable in your own skin too. With as I told a lot of these guys, even with Charlie, I told them, just go on social media more and like just post what you think is funny, and people are gonna either laugh at you or they're gonna hate on you. But regardless, people are gonna see that side of you more. They're gonna see that real side of you. And I think people are starting to see that more with Mariah, where it's like, I don't know if this is good enough to post. This is good enough to post. That good enough to post. Like, stop overthinking it. Just post.
Well, and if someone saw like a picture of you as a fighter, like getting ready to go into the cage or whatever, right? And they were like, oh, it's Belal Muhammad, #1 welterweight contender. I wonder what they would think of your person, right? You do put your personality out there. I would think the true MMA fans got to see your personality well before you became the #1 contender.
100%.
Let's move on to topic 2, because I'm really happy to actually be able to talk about this. So Alexander Volkanovski been on some microphones this week. So said he was drinking every day for 3 to 4 weeks before the Islam camp. I know it was a short notice opportunity, but he said it was unheard of for him. He doesn't strike me as someone who is an alcoholic or has a real drinking problem, but I over and over again couldn't get over his physical condition in that fight and his like love handles, you know what I mean? And how he had like a little bit of pudge hanging over, and it was just very much not like him. I understand it's at 155. So for me, that clarified some things, and, for him, this opportunity, right, against Ilia Topuria, and Topuria has some hype, right? It feels like Topuria has some real hype coming into this fight, but I'm looking forward to Alexander Volkanovski having the chance to sort of continue. He hasn't lost in his division yet. So it's going to be exciting a couple weeks from now, 9 days away.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where Volk really is, right? We'll see if, like a lot of people telling him you came back too soon after a knockout loss to Islam. But you start telling yourself, oh, that's because I took a short notice. It's because I was drinking. So you come up with not excuses, but for reasons why. And sometimes that makes you overthink it and forget, like, I just got knocked out. I had a concussion. But then get right back into the training room and get back to getting hit in the head a couple more times harder. And now you're going to go against a power puncher and Poirier, who got real good hands, and he also has grappling, and he also has wrestling. He has it all. He's gonna be. I think this guy, he believes his hype, but I think a lot of other fighters believe his hype too because he shows it. He hasn't had one fight where I looked at him like, bro, this guy's not as good as the world thinks he is. This guy's got it all.
I hear you. And in terms of Volk, right? Certainly 145 is going to force him to be super disciplined, but he's said many times in the past, like he prefers to be in camp. Some guys out of camp, whether it's that not taking care of themselves or really just mentally sort of, it's got to be a very different mental situation for you guys. I know for you, it's a very consistent mindset, but for some of these guys, they need a fight in the books.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it happen with a lot of fighters too, where they get there and they have that, you're getting the bigger bucks now because you are the champion. You've been the champion for that long. You start getting that hype, and then you start getting just comfortable. You don't have that same hunger. Like, you go on this jog at night. This guy's chasing me too. I can't let these people catch up to me because Volk has been so dominant at 145. So maybe he wasn't thinking about who's the next guy up anymore. And then all of a sudden they call you with the short notice fight to fight Islam. You're like, all right, well, the first fight was so close. I think I can match up with him skill wise. It gets you hyped up and excited just to get something in the books. You go out there, you lose, but then also that could also snap you back into it now. All right, we got to get that hunger back on us, get that chip back on our shoulder, and we got to get back into the training room 24/7. So maybe that's the new Volk we're going to see again. And
you obviously know Yair Rodriguez well, Valley Flow Striking, and have spent a lot of time training with him and spent time with him and been in Mexico with him. So Yair Rodriguez last July, I know wasn't best night for Yair, but Volk certainly took care of business that night. And I feel like some people maybe forget a little bit what he did when, to me, the dude who had the best chance to really beat him didn't back in July.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think Yair, I rewatched that fight a couple of times. He was so close with a couple of stuff, but Volk is so good at avoiding inches, right? I think with Poirier, he's more of a boxer. Yair is more of a kicker. Volk he likes that range too. He's so good with his feints and understanding range and distance. And Poirier got those hands. So if you stay in that close range with him and he puts his hands on you, he's not afraid to take a couple of hits too. So that's what's going to be cool to see whose game plan is going to work more. Because if Volk tries to play the wrestling game, Poirier, that's Poirier's first love. It's jiu-jitsu. When he first came to the UFC, he was hyped up because of his grappling.
I wonder how many people know that. We'll have a lot of time to break down that one next week in Anaheim. Come find us. Those of you watching, come find us in Anaheim. Come take a picture with my boy, Bully B. He's lefty. I like watching him sign stuff lefty. I could zoom. This camera's sweet, right? See it zoom in on my hand? It's pretty fresh. Anyway. All right. Topic 3, Dustin, the Diamond Poirier, one of my favorite fighters. You're the fighter's favorite fighter's this guy. Anyway, so he is set to compete in the co-main event, UFC 299 Miami. I guess he puts out fights off, still training, whether it was on X or Instagram, whatever it was. I guess he's like, couldn't reach my manager or whatever. Like, Dustin, you need management help? I'll manage you, Dustin. You couldn't reach your manager. Just curious. I mean, what do you know about this? Give me some juice. I mean, what's it? Did he get the bag? Was he with no contract signed? What do you know? What do you think?
Yeah, you never know with any of these guys. A lot of these guys, like him, Nate Diaz, Connor, they understand what one tweet will do, right? They understand that what Twitter does and how hype it gets people. And I'm thinking, I don't know if it makes them, if they do it just to get that extra hype on the fight or get that extra attention or show the UFC, look at all I gotta do is put this one tweet out, look at the attention it got. So maybe it's a negotiation tactic as well. But I also do know that Chuck Buffalo and Dustin both had the same manager, and Chuck couldn't get a hold of him either. I think he was like on a plane or something for his manager around that same exact time. So I believe Dustin when he says he couldn't get a hold of his manager, but I'm glad he got cleared up because I'm excited to see that fight.
Me too, and I love him taking the meat on the bone. And yeah, you do learn in this world. You push out a little tweet. My brother can't really say much of anything without getting away with it.
I'm still seeing that 24/7. I'm like, bro, these people, they're still making like videos of it. I'm like,
and you know what? And I'm just gonna say to you and to our audience, because we're here and you're my boy. I meant to say this to you off the air, but bro, we're sitting here. I'm across from him, and he's just. Sorry to curse, just bullshitting, man, to his podcast audience, frankly, just bullshitting. If you want to know the truth, right? Just what it's a very comfortable audience for him. Those podcast listeners and watchers for John are his brethren, man. That's his heart. Those are the people, a lot of real fans. So for him, I just to get him over. But dude, so funny. We were like, well, we were laughing for the first couple of days. Then it's like, oh, really? We got to deal with this?
Yeah, I'm listening to it. Like you said, it just sounds like you're just talking to your boys, just messing around. But like when people read it in an article and they read the words and it's like how you get like a text and you be like, why are you texting me angry? And you're like, bro, I didn't say anything angry.
Right.
Like you read it angrily in your head because you assume that he said it this way. But I'm looking at it like, go back and watch the podcast. It was said so like nonchalantly, like joking around, but people just like look for anything to make a headline about, right? Like same thing with Chuck Buffalo. Like, people are looking for anything to make a headline about now because they're just looking for those clickbaits.
And you know, some of John's words, whatever your opinion may be, it just is what it is. But I'm sitting here and it's the Anakin Florian podcast, and I'm not really chiming in all that regularly all the time. I might be sitting here doing something else. You know, we're just going for just sort of hanging out. So had it been a show that John and I were doing just one-on-one, I probably would have been like, bro, what are you talking? You know what I mean? Right in the moment, sort of been like, all right, man. And interesting enough, maybe that diffused it a little bit, but it was a lot of noise. But in the same way that Dustin Poirier maybe got what I don't want to say it like that. Dustin Poirier, maybe it moved some needles. John felt the love from all you fighters and the folks around. So anyway, let's move to my favorite topic, Bully B. So before I even do my every week, like complaining about not having a date, I'm not even going to go there. I thought about this as I was walking in here. Like, do you ever think about the reality right now of just, you know, and soaking in, like you're going to compete for a UFC championship. Like today, I walking in here today, I was like, you know what? This is pretty damn exciting for me that Belal's going to compete for a championship. And I don't really care when.
Bro, it's funny because my boy Kevin Novacek, APFC middleweight champion, literally tells me it all the time. Like, bro, like, how do you like when you go to the grocery store? Do you like tell people like, yo, I'm fighting for the belt? And I'm just like,
right?
Because it's like I go in there and I was like, man, I need a date. Like you're always looking to see what's next, but he's like, bro, just like appreciate to where you are, or like what you've been through to get here, and this was the goal, and now it's just we're right here. Like we're just waiting for it now. So it's like being more grateful for a lot of these stuff that I've gone, the ups and downs. But yeah, it's like he's like, bro, you should be more like shout it out to the rooftop. Yo, we got next. That's it. Like there's nothing else. So
and yeah, and isn't it a beautiful thing that you don't need to shout it out from the rooftops anymore? Certainly feels like you don't. So let me ask you a question, maybe a dumb question. How long is a typical? I know you train all the time. Is a typical training camp? How many weeks?
I mean, some fighters like 8 to 10 weeks. For me, I'm good with like a good 6 weeks to dial in is really all I need.
And the reason I ask is because UFC 300 creeping, whatever the date may be, but it's like you do have a life, you do have things you want to do in your camp, whether it's go find Khabib and spend some time there, whatever it may be. Belal's in high demand on the broadcasting circuit as well. So how do you manage that unknown, or do you just like take it week by week?
I mean, it's cool because like say when I do travel, like I do have good relationship with a whole bunch of different coaches and teams. And like here last week, when I was down here, I got to train with Jake Shields, who's a legend and a beast, and he still got it like on the ground and learning from him. And I trained with Buckley while he was at the PI.
Joaquin, cool. That's a nice body for you.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, anytime I come to Chicago, you need help or anything. So it's cool to experience that in PFL, welterweight, Magomed Muladov. He's fortunate, undefeated. Me and him got sparring rounds in. So I'm getting different looks, and I like doing that when I am on the road because it gives you kind of like a fight feel. Because I don't know none of these guys. I never trained with them before, so I don't know what their style is. So I like to compare myself to these guys, and it's always good because it gives you that kind of like nervousness where it's like I'm doing Nacho 24/7. I train with Nacho 24/7, so I know. I mean, it's going to be hard practice, but I know what he does and what he's good at and what he's not good at. With these guys, I don't know nothing, so it's the unknown. So it gives me kind of like a fight feel whenever I'm on the road, get new looks.
Do you guys always know, and you don't really know how hard someone's going to go all the time, right? You feel each other out a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's because every fighter has the ego, right? Say if you're going with somebody and you get tapped out and you're like, oh, no, that's the level we're going at. I usually I'll see what type of pace they're going at, but for the most part, a lot of fighters, it's like we get paid to fight, so there's no point of getting injured or going that crazy hard in the gym and sparring and stuff like that. So yeah, every guy I've really gone with has been solid. Like I was expecting Buckley to be more like wild because obviously he's strong as a tank, but like yeah, he was so cool and chill, and yeah, he was like a perfect partner. So I told him like, bro, anytime come to Chicago, you'll fit right in.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. I like talking to him. He's funny. He's sharp. He's been on our show a couple times. He keeps it rolling. He's good. Well,
Yeah.
so I'm enjoying it at this point because I think we have no other choice. Are you still planning to hook up with Khabib? I was like saying hook up Khabib before this. Once this date sort of announced, is that when he'll sort of get on your calendar?
Yeah, 100%. It's me and Lou are like sitting there trying to figure out dates because Lou's also cornering Jake Paul's card.
Ooh.
He was just in Atlanta, so Lou's gonna be doing his first boxing.
Okay, Lou.
Yeah, so Lou's gonna be out there, and he's like, "Yo, come out there too, it's in Puerto Rico." And like, bro, hold up, I gotta check my dates and see what's good for that. And Umar said Habib and the guys are gonna come down to Vegas because his fight's coming up in March, so they're gonna come down here and train
There
with
you
him
go.
and help him. So
Beautiful.
it'll be an easy trip for me to come back here too and get some more working with these guys as well.
Beautiful. We got to hook you up with Big Ron out at the Virgin Hotel, get you in that hot tub after some of these workouts. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
UFC Vegas 86. Let's get to Bullies Bix. Feels like it's been a minute since we've done Bullies Bix for some reason, right?
Yeah, right. It does.
Again, bone marrow, the graphics still holding up. I had some personal issues last week, some ridiculousness with water leaking under my house. Sorry. Let's get to this. So UFC Vegas 86, 7 o'clock Eastern main event. So for us old guys, we need to have another watch party. I know you have a lot of obligations in Las Vegas, Bully B, but we will be live about 8:15 on the Anakin Florian YouTube channel. We've got Ray Longo, maybe Big Ron out in Vegas, Kenny Florian, John Anik. Should be a fun night. So, hey, I know you'll be busy, but anytime you want to check in from your cell phone, we'd love to have you just saying hello. But we'll be watching probably co-main event and the main event. So you got this football game tonight. You're going to be in Vegas hanging out. Certainly not going to be hitting the tables, losing any money like a dummy.
Yeah, we got that football game tonight, and then tomorrow's supposed to be something cool too. We're supposed to do like a workout by Forrest Griffin. Supposed to be teaching us a kickboxing class. For the guys, all the celebrities are going to be there, so it'll be. He's like, bro, I don't know. Like, they want me to teach Deontay Wilder how to hit a heavy bag. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, bro, just be natural. Be funny.
Yeah.
Show him how to kick.
Exactly. Forrest could sell anything. He'll be just fine. Well, anyone watching, Belal Muhammad needs a ticket to the big game. He has no problem staying out there an extra day. He's a Chicago Bears fan. So if you're a 49ers fan or a Chiefs fan, you want him to root for your football club, he'd be happy to. He'll buy a jersey, whatever you need to do.
Right away, dude.
Absolutely.
I'll buy the food and stuff you guys want to eat.
And real quick, just indulge me. Sorry, UFC fans, if you hate the NFL, but just Belal, I like a check-in. Justin Fields, real quick, do you want him to stay, or are we going with Caleb Williams and we flipping the switch?
No, I want Justin to stay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Build the roster. Get Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's what I was about to say. We get Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's a perfect weapon for him.
Oh, look at Mystic Black. Can you guys help with a ticket for $298? Live in LA and would love to go. We'd love to see you, Mystic Black. Tickets for the Ultimate Fighting Championship are not as easy as people think. Believe it or not, we appreciate it. Oh, he's giving $1.99 might get you a ticket to a UFC event. Appreciate it, Mystic Black. We love you, bro. But believe me when I tell you, the tickets are no joke. I have to sneak in, right? I sneak in every time. All right, UFC Vegas. What's up? Yeah.
You go Justin John.
I'm telling you. This lettuce might be coming off soon too, and then it'll really be a game changer. All right. We're just doing two tonight, Belal. Co-main event and main event. There were a lot of pronunciations on some of these other fights that I just was like, these names. I was like, let's just focus on these two fights. So we got this matchup, man, in the co-main event, Dan Ige, Andre Fili, man. This is one of those fights when I see it. I know there are a couple that you see out there sometimes. You're like, man, these two guys are fighting. You know, we had some of that at the APFC on the regional circuit. We were like these two guys that we would come talk to us and be so mentally forged, and these like guys that appear to be killers. They're like, oh, these two guys are fighting. This is a fight that I'm excited to see, but almost wish wasn't happening because I got a lot of love for both these guys. All right. Underdog, Andre, Touchy Feely. So winner on Remember the Show, by the way, a few weeks back. That was episode 121. That was back in December, 5 days after he knocked out Lucas Almeida in the first round at UFC 296. His other appearance in 2023, a unanimous decision loss to Nathaniel Wood. That was back in July. I like this kid. Smart kid, fun to talk to, great fighter. But he gets someone here who we both love in Dan Ige, 50K. I consider him a friend. He's been with Nixick, I think 18 going on 19 years. I'll never forget. I've talked about this before. When we arrived in Vancouver, at a recent event last year, and Ige was on the card, and there was no hotel room ready at the time. Ige and Nixick were in this room. The windows were open, and the Zen, I was like, this dude is winning his fight. There was just great energy coming out of that room. So I got a lot of love for Dan. He had won 2 straight after the setback, or had won 2 straight. The setback against Bryce Mitchell, that was September 23rd last year. But this just feels big for Dan. You know, it's like he starts his UFC career, loses 1, then wins 6 straight. Like a lot of hype around him. His rankings at stake here. You know, his number 13 ranking stayed here against Feely. I think it should be an absolute banger. I bet you don't want to pick it. I got a lot of love for both guys, but we're going to force you to pick it. Andre Feely plus 145, Dan Ige, the minus 175 favorite. Who you got?
Oh man, yeah, this is definitely like I would rather have this match as being Remember the Show game show. Like I don't want to see these guys throw
mash their faces together instead.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, bro, how did this happen? But yeah, this is one of those fights. It's gonna be it's tough, right? Because Feely just coming off a huge knockout. It was, you know, he said he likes staying active, likes staying in the training room, and when you get that momentum, that gives you that confidence to get you rolling. Like he's one of those guys where he had his ups and he's had his downs. Same thing with Ige, where he's had long streaks, then he'll lose that tough one. But I think Ige's been in there with tougher competition. I think he's been at the top of the division longer, and I think when he doesn't take a loss easy. I think he gets better after a loss, and he gets hungrier after a loss. And you know that Bryce Mitchell fight, I think it was a couple of mistakes that he made where it could have been a win. Right, that 3rd round, I think it was up in the air, and Bryce just held that position in the back, and he kept it there the whole time. But even with Andre Feely, I think that Nathaniel Wood fight was very close, and it could have gone either way as well. So he could have been on a longer streak right now.
Good point.
But stylistically, matchup-wise, I think I'm going to go with Ige. I think that he's just been in there with some very high-level guys, a lot of guys at the top, and I think that he just has that power. That one-punch power, and Philly does get hit a lot, and we've seen him get dropped a couple times, and he'll recover from it, but he does get dropped. And I think if Danny goes that route and he plays the grappling game, I think that his grappling is going to be higher level than Philly's, and I think I'm going to go with Ige by decision.
I don't bet MMA, but from a gambling standpoint, when I hear you talk about the strength of schedule, it does move the needle. He beat Edson Barboza, faced Cater, Emmett, Zombie. Been main evented against Zombie. I mean, he's faced some real competition. All right. The main event of the evening, Jack Hermansson, the number 11th ranked middleweight plus 210 versus Joe Pyfer minus 258. So, but I have to do this. I know you guys, but John does this. So it's Joe Body Bags Pyfer, right? You know, the B Joe Pyfer, Dana, it was like, be like Joe Pyfer, whatever.
Yeah.
So John is insistent upon the fact that this dude needs to change his name to B, and Buffer needs to announce him as B Joe Pyfer. I love it, man. Not everyone has a great nickname like Remember the Name Muhammad. So Joe Pyfer, born in Jersey, fights out of Philly. It's Belal's favorite type of guy, right? These Jersey Philly guys. All right. A lot of hype around him, but deservedly so. 3-0 in the UFC. If you include his finish on the Contender Series, that's 4 straight finishes. Wins over our guy GM3. Last time out, beats Abdul Razak El Hassan. Round 2, arm triangle. Great matchmaking here. Can't wait for this main event. Can't wait to do it on a watch party as well. Jack Hermansson. So Jack, 35 years old, Belal. You know he's born exactly 1 month before Remember the Name Muhammad, June 10th, 1988. You like that little factoid?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? Shout out, Jack. Make me give a little extra love for Jack Hermansson. Not a Cancer like us, those of you who follow the horoscope. So the Joker has alternated wins and losses over his last 8 appearances. Did not fight in 2023, fought 3 times in 2022, split loss to Sean Strickland. See, and a guy like Belal, I hate to get off track. You probably remember that fight vividly, right? Split, right? We'll get to that. But that's the thing about Belal. It's like, for me, dog, the idea that I'm going to remember bits and pieces of that fight, sorry, maybe some, was that bad? Anyway. All right. So split loss to Sean Strickland, win over Chris Curtis. Last fight, a loss to Roman Dolidze. Second round knockout. That was December 3rd of 2022. So been a year plus. I'm really fired up for this, man. It's gonna shock me to wake up Sunday morning and have Joe Pyfer having lost this, but I got a lot of respect for Jack. Very curious to see where Belal is heading on this pick. Give me the main event selection, Mr. Muhammad. Another tough one.
This is a tough one, right? Because Jack has those fights where he looks good one time, the next time you're like, what happened? Like when he beat Chris Curtis, he looked great. His striking looked great. His movement looked great. I remember Chris Curtis was just getting like annoyed by the whole thing and wanted him to stand in
Yeah.
the ring with him. But Jackman did a good job of kicking. And then the next fight he goes and fights Strickland, who just jabs him the whole time. And it's kind of like a boring fight, where like Strickland's type of fight where he just jabs you. And it was very like low paced. With this fight, I think Joe Pyfer, this kid's angry. He's like,
That's a good nickname for him.
In his interviews, this kid's like an angry kid. And I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was like talking about his life. And then I don't know how I got brought up, but he's like, yeah, I don't like Belal Muhammad. And Joe Rogan's like, why? He's like, he's cool. He's like, no, but he's my boy Sean Grady. So you can respect that, right? Like,
absolutely. Perfect reason. That's the only reason to not like Belal Muhammad.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So at first I was like, what? And then he's like, yeah. So like I can respect it because I don't like him because he beat Jan 3. But if I'm being unbiased here, looking at the matchup, I think I'm going to go with Pyfer. I think that, Jack, he doesn't really like to get hit hard, and Pyfer hits hard. And Jack doesn't have the best takedowns. When he grabs a hold of you, he has a really good body lock and pull you down using his strength. But I think Joe's not going to be one of those guys that gets out-muscled by him and gets taken down that way. He doesn't have really good setups with his takedowns. For instance, like more on the reach, lock my hands, and then throw you down. He's not going to do that with Pyfer because I know a lot of guys that train with him, and they say that his grappling is really good, and he does have that one-punch power. So I think I'm going to go with Joe here. I think this is a nice matchup for him. Smaller cage. I think he's going to be able to land his hands on him.
First main event for Joe Pyfer. Main event Muhammad has made the walk before. Any different feel when you're on the poster?
For Joe, for Joe, I think it would be more so that he has a lot of people. All the eyes are on him, right? Like you said, Dana White said, "Be Joe Pyfer," and with the way he's doing his interviews now and stuff like that, it's like I'm not saying he's trying to like really hype himself up to try to get more mainstream and be that guy with that character, but don't forget you have to win a fight. So don't be distracted by I got to do this interview, that interview, and I got to be like crazy in this interview and like hothead in this interview so it gets headlines. Like, no, well, let's win the fight first, and then we'll continue on with it afterward. So just don't lose track of the goal. The goal is to win the fight.
Great point. Yeah. Absolutely. And for those of you who do gamble out there, and I hate betting on MMA, but it's hard for me not. Like I said, I think Joe Pyfer, I wake up Sunday morning and he wins. You do a little parlay, connect Joe Pyfer to whatever you like in the Super Bowl, and you get some nice juice on Super Bowl Sunday where you're getting plus money everywhere you play it. If Joe Pyfer gets the win, Cody likes that nickname, Angry Joe Pyfer, as well, that you might have just given him. That's a pretty good nickname too. Angry Joe Pyfer or B Joe Pyfer. I like those. All right. So one thing I want to talk to you about, and I'll do it publicly. So Joe Romero, who does all this artwork, he's doing Kelvin Gastelum's now. You've seen a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
he did this incredible drawing of you. So we got to put some Belal Muhammad merchandise out there. He's been dying to do Remember the Show merch, which we'll do soon, but we got to connect you with this guy, Joe Romero, because that design, we just got to get it out there and get it on t-shirts. Yeah, I know we got What the Fudge, we got Bully B got next, but we gotta elevate this stuff for my boy Belal Muhammad. Oh, there's Big Ron. You want some pics, dog? Type them in. Dog, as my dog being Ron. Shout out Ron Pellegrino. Paradise Cantina out in Vegas. All right, Kenny. Let's go, Kenny. The plumber fixing my house is named Kenny too. So I got a lot of love for Kenny right now because my house is fudged and Kenny's giving me some love. Anyway, bet 125, man, 125 episodes. Play well tonight in the football game. Update us when you're done. Let us know that you're, nice and healthy and ready to go. And enjoy your time out there, man. I'll see you in 5 days?
For sure, my brother. I'll see you next week.
He's Belal. Remember the name Muhammad. Cody Merrow, as always, at the helm. My name is Jason Anik, 125 in the books. Remember the show. Come find us in Anaheim next week. Enjoy the fights. Have a good night.